There are no two words in the English language more harmful than good job.
Whiplash is a brilliantly crafted masterpiece by Damien Chazelle. This 2014 movie that is set in modern-day New York explores the story of a promising young jazz drummer who enrolls at a cutthroat music conservatory where his dreams of greatness are mentored by an instructor who will stop at nothing to realize the student's potential. The film contains flawless acting performances, stylish but effective cinematography, some great lighting and editing, and an upbeat, unpredictable nature of the story that resembles the very essence of jazz itself. Whiplash mostly revolves around the relationship of Andrew and his instructor Mr. Fletcher, with the other characters just giving us a glimpse into Andrew's life outside of music, which was basically non-existent. Those characters were Andrew's dad, who is a failed writer and a professor at a high school. He didn't really quite understand what jazz actually meant to his son until the climax of the film. And Nicole, this girl that Andrew very briefly dated and eventually broke up with because he saw her as a distraction and wanted to focus most of his time on drumming. In a way, both of these characters are used to emphasize how dedicated and desperate Andrew was to become one of the greatest drummers of all time. Then there is Andrew Neiman, who is this super competitive, ambitious kid, and because of that, a lot of times he is very arrogant towards his peers. However, it sometimes works in his favor by pushing him to constantly improve and better own his skills. Andrew is the lead character in the movie, but my opinion slightly differs. I think this was meant to be a Terence Fletcher movie, the infamous jazz instructor who was known for his brutal teaching tactics. He is a terrifying, commanding, mean-spirited and aggressive man who on most occasions wore a tight black t-shirt that emphasized his build. When we first see him conducting the studio band, he raises a hand in the air and the camera swings around him, as if he owns the room and every living body in it. Neiman also endures a lot of bullying and abuse, both psychological and physical, from the hands of Fletcher and eventually washes out under the pressure. Chazelle also often shot Andrew as an isolated figure surrounded by ample of negative space, emphasizing his solitude. I believe that the end of any movie has the power to make or break it, and there are only a handful of directors who have mastered the craft of ending. To talk about the end of the movie, Andrew ends up substituting in for the drummer in Fletcher's new professional band. We later get to know that this is actually a cruel ploy orchestrated by Fletcher, who wants to humiliate Andrew publicly by queuing him up to play the wrong music. This is a huge turning point in the film, until the next scene where Andrew turns the tables on Fletcher and is now leading the band into an incredible rendition of the song that he was fully prepared to play. In those last 20 minutes of the movie, Fletcher's attitude shifts drastically. He goes from gloating about his revenge to helping Neiman during his drum solo. We even see a single teardrop running down Fletcher's cheek in that moment as he witnesses the literal bloody drum kit. The attitude change in my opinion was because of the fact that Fletcher had finally recognized who Neiman could truly become. Because now, he wasn't looking at Andrew Neiman, the first year student at Schaefer Conservatory who got him fired, but was now staring at his Charlie Parker, the Charlie Parker that he thought would never be his. However conflicting their ideologies and morals were throughout, we realize by the end of the movie that both of them were working towards the same exact goal, by following a similar path of not giving up. Neiman wanted to become a great jazz drummer, and Fletcher wanted to create one. Neiman did not give up on his drumming, and neither did Fletcher when the time came to support his prodigy.